Welcome to 1001 Bedtime Stories of World War II by Wayne Perkins, and this is based on my book, The Last Flight of the Daisy May, a story of heroism and hope at 17,000 feet. Well, this is the last story about Molly, although she may appear later on in the book. The reading I'm going to do is from Chapter 2 of The Last Flight of the Daisy May, and so it begins. Nightmares begin for Molly. Not all was perfect for Molly. Sometimes she felt lonely, but most of the time she could deal with it. She never felt comfortable confiding in her co-workers. She sensed early on that her co-workers did not trust her. Molly's life in Europe had been much worse than any stress she faces here, however. She began to have nightmares about a lonely ball turret gunner aboard one of her bombers. It would come to her right after a day at work that went a little amiss. Fortunately, there were a few days like that, but when there was, she could count on the nightmare as she fell asleep at night. As a worker in the defense industry during World War II, Molly created a fearful vision about a ball turret gunner in mortal combat and turned it into a recurring nightmare that would follow her for a long time. Without being in combat herself, she was experiencing some of the same shell-shock combat veterans experience today, known as PTSD. Molly remembered her father was wounded during World War I, the war to end all wars. As a young girl, she could hear her father screaming out at night in his sleep. When Molly's brothers or sisters asked him what he did in World War I, he would talk for a while and then leave the room. Molly and her siblings understood and did not press for more information. They knew something horrible had happened, and they prayed for his release from suffering. Molly sometimes wondered if her efforts were truly making a contribution. She knew that her fellow workers were doing all they could to help the war effort. They seemed happy and positive, but who knows how they felt when they went to bed at night after a long day working at the plant. She wondered if they felt the same stress. She wondered if her work would help her children live in a country where they worry of war no more. Molly struggled to release the worry and fill her soul with hope. Molly knew she was not alone, and she held fast to the confidence that her intelligence and strength would triumph in the end. She never knew how she influenced lives of others around her. She just held on to the belief that all would end well and that World War would be over soon. Thank you again for listening to 1001 Bedtime Stories of World War II, based on the book The Last Flight of the Daisy May, a story of heroism and hope at 17,000 feet. And the book is available on Amazon.com in print and as a Kindle, in the Kindle format as well, and also from Audible, Amazon, and iTunes as an audiobook.